Hello, boys and girls. You know, usually when we're talking about strategies in reading class, we talk about strategies that help us figure out what a word is. If we're trying to sound it out, if we're trying to kind of skip the word and come back and fill in the blank. Today we're going to talk about strategies, but not just strategies for reading a word off of a page. We're going to take the next step and we're going to talk about strategies for helping us to understand what the story means or what the word means. It's get a little bit tricky, but you know what? Just the fact that you guys clicked on this means you're ready for a challenge. So we're going to go ahead and take that challenge. Are you ready? The first strategy we're going to talk about today is cause and effect. Look at those words. Cause and effect. Basically, what made something happen and what happened because of it. Now, I'm going to read you a short story, and our job is going to be to figure out what caused something else to happen. Why did it happen? Here's the story. The man wore a hat and a black coat. He did not want us to see him. He tried to hide behind a post. Now, the effect, or what happened, was that the man hid behind a post. Now we're going to ask ourselves the question, what caused the man to hide behind the post? What was the cause? I'm going to give you some choices, and we're going to talk about them and pick the best one. A, he was wearing a black coat. Did that make him hide behind the post? B, he did not want us to see him. Or C, he did not want to wear a hat. Which one of those do you think was the cause of why he tried to hide behind a post? Who said that? Lou, you think we should go back and reread and look for clues in the text? All right, let's do it. The man wore a hat and a black coat. He did not want us to see him. Oh, what was that? Why are you smiling? He did not want us to see him. Now listen to what comes next. He tried to hide behind a post. Did you figure it out? Yes, you did. You got excited when I said he did not want us to see him. That is why he hid behind the post. He did not want to be seen. So B was the correct answer. Good job. You did some thinking with cause and effect. You ready for another one? Let's move on to another strategy. Let's talk about, the author's purpose. Now, in kindergarten, we talk a lot about, okay, who is the author? What does the author do? So let's remind ourselves of that. What is an author's job? Good answer. The author is the person who writes the words to the story. They tell us the story. Well, a purpose is why are they doing something. If you dumped all your toys out on the floor and I said to you, what is your purpose? Why are you doing that? You might say to me, well, I was looking for my favorite one. So that would be your purpose of dumping them out. Well, when we think about the author's purpose, we're wondering, why did the author write this? What were they trying to get done or accomplish? Here comes the story, and then we're going to try to figure out why the author wrote there. In this case, it's going to be a letter. Dear Aunt Mary, we have to give our cat away. Mom is allergic. I don't want to give Sammy to a stranger. Would you please let Sammy live with you? He is a very nice cat, so you will love him. He will love you because you are nice too. Having a cat around is fun because you are never lonely. Please adopt Sammy. Love, Katie. Now, Katie was the author. She's the one who wrote that letter. And our job is to find out, why do you think Katie wrote that letter? What was her purpose? Ooh, here comes a big word. Are you ready? Do you think it was to persuade? When you want to persuade someone, you're trying to talk them into something. Right. Yeah, like Hawksley, remember that time the other day you said to me you were tired from canvassing? You were going out and telling people why you thought they should vote for a certain person? You were giving them reasons why. You were trying to convince them. You could say you were going to try to persuade someone to make a certain choice. Okay? That's what persuade means. B is to inform. Like when you read a book that we call informational, it's full of facts, it's trying to teach you something. That would be to try to teach something. And finally, another reason why authors write is to entertain, to make someone feel good inside or to make them interested, to help them relax. That would be to entertain them. So why do you think Katie wrote this letter to Aunt Mary? Was she trying to convince her to do something? Was she trying to teach her something? Or was she trying to entertain her, help her have fun and enjoy herself? I do notice that she kind of asks her to do something and then she gives a lot of reasons why she thinks she should. Remember, she wanted Sammy to go live with Aunt Mary. And then she said because he's a nice cat, she'll love him. She'll never be lonely. The cat is fun. You're right. She was trying to persuade Aunt Mary to take the cat. Have you ever tried to persuade your parents? What about persuading them for a later bedtime? Have you ever said, but Mom, Dad, if you let me stay up a little bit later, we could read a whole nother book, or I could clean up my room. You were trying to persuade a lot like the author in this clue card. All right, you have some energy for another one? All right, let's do another one. This one is going to be about, let's see, we did cause and effect. Ooh, these are one of my favorites. It's called making an inference. Now, when you make an inference, you're going to look at clues, and no one's going to tell you exactly what the answer is, but you're going to look at all the clues, think about them, and then make a decision. This is a tricky one. Are you ready? Here we go. Larry frowned. He turned his paper over. He wrote 245. Below that, he wrote 319. Let's see, he thought. 5 and 9 are 14. Larry wrote a 4 in the ones column. I'll never finish, he thought. He looked at the clock. I'll never finish in time. I have only 3 problems done. There are 7 more to go. Now, they never really told us what Larry was doing, did they? Not exactly. But it's likely that, I'm going to give you some choices, and you tell me what you think could have been going on. Could Larry be taking a math test? Well, they were talking about numbers. They were talking about problems and trying to finish. Sounds a little bit like a math test. Do you think that Larry likes reading better than he likes math? They never even mentioned reading. Maybe he really likes reading. I don't know. They didn't tell us anything about that. Well, let's look at the final one. Larry is not allowed to turn the paper over. I don't remember ever hearing anything about Larry even wanting to turn a paper over. So B and C don't seem like good answers. On the other hand, it does seem like Larry could be taking a math test. It involves numbers, solving problems, and getting finished in time. So I think it's A. You thought the same thing? I'm glad. You know what they say. Great minds think alike. All right, boys and girls, how about if we work on one more strategy? These are what I like to call Amelia Bedelia strategies. You know who Amelia Bedelia is, right? She's that kind of funny little girl or young woman who's a maid, and everything people say, she thinks they mean exactly what they said. Right. Yep. She doesn't understand that sometimes we use words in a funny way. All right. Well, today, when we use some figurative language, we're going to use a word that can be used in different ways, and we're going to have to try to figure out how they're using that word. Here we go. Bicycles have been around for a long time. People have used them for almost 200 years. The first bicycle was called a dandy horse. The dandy horse had 2 wheels, but it didn't have any pedals. People would sit on the seat. Then they would walk or run to make the wheels turn. Today, all bicycles have pedals. Now we're going to have to try to figure out how they were using the word pedals. Well, could it be A, a part of a flower, B, a place for a foot, or C, to move forward? Let's talk about these for a minute. If we thought it could be a part of a flower, like it says in A, wouldn't they mention a flower at all? If I look at all the words and sentences in the story, I never heard them mention a flower, so I don't think they're talking about a petal like a flower petal. B, a place for a foot. Well, they are talking about bicycles, and I know that bicycles have pedals on them because I've put my foot on the pedal before and my foot slipped off the pedal before too, but I did put pressure on it and it did turn the wheel around, so I know it's part of a bike. Maybe that's it. Oh, wait a second. C, to move forward. I do know that they talked about moving forward by running or walking. Let me go back and reread and see if I think if B or C is a better answer. The first bicycle was called the Dandy Horse, but it didn't have any pedals. And see, you can't see that, but I can see they underlined it there. Now, when they use it in that part of the sentence, I know they're talking about a thing because they say it didn't have any pedals. They're not using it like a doing word, like to move forward. So that tells me in this story, they want the word pedal to mean a place for a foot. Might not be a bad idea, boys and girls. Have you taken any time today to go for a ride on your bike? Maybe that'd be a good thing to do right now. Make sure you ask your parents first. Thanks for working hard, boys and girls.